Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and KISMA. I'm KISMA. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to shape your reality. Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and KISMA, bringing you ancient wisdom for modern day success so that you can have the mindset to get your life and business set.
As always, thank you for tuning in. And if you're new to the podcast, take a quick second to hit the subscribe button in iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. If you want to get the inside info for this and every episode, as well as some free gifts, go to illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. And now let's dive in to get your mindset for your life and business set.
Hello there, Nick.
Hello there, KISMA.
What's up?
Nice. It was a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
In my office here, like this time of year, I get this really beautiful kind of warm breeze coming in, and it's like the perfect breeze. Like that perfect breeze. It's the perfect temperature. It's not too cold. It's not harsh. It's not too hot.
Blissy.
It was kind of blissed out. Like every time it would come by, I would just like take a nice deep breath and just feel the breeze, and I was like, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's so awesome. I know that the wires in here stress you out a little bit.
Just for everyone's info, we're recording in Nick's office in our house, and he has all this stuff, and like all I can do is stare at that blinking light and all these wires. The wires stress me out.
I mean, there's
a lot of them.
There's a lot of wires.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of wires. There's a lot of stuff to run. There's a lot of things happening here.
There's a lot happening. There's like a couple of screens. There's some big mechanical thing holding your computer. And then there's boards and wires. So many wires. Yeah. Anyways.
This is not KISMA's happy place.
I'm getting used to it. This wire is pretty. This one's red.
Yeah,
this cord is red.
See, it matches the little scarlet.
I can handle this one. It's red. It's more like fabric-y, everyone. That kind of wire. Yeah, it's good. It's a good wire.
Yeah.
The other wire is not so good.
Yeah, I've been working at it to get the live cast for the sound healing. Right. There's things that are needed to really do that properly and to get the sound out good. And I'm there. I'm doing one later this month. And it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Where can they find you if they want to listen to the sound healing?
Well, that's a great question because it's been kind of hiding in the background. Mm-hmm. But the best thing that you can do is go to nickhansinger.com and just like opt in for my email list, like opt in for the blog. You can go to the blog and opt in there. You can, grab my free videos, and then you'll be on. When I announce it, I'll definitely announce it there. That's the best place. But it's going to be later this month. It's going to be the sort of thing where I'm going to guide through a whole process of healing, meditation, and then using the sound in the bowls in a very kind of specific way to create just an amazing healing experience.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Don't miss that. Don't miss that, especially now. So, but what we do want to talk about today, and we might be talking about it more and more, is how to shape your reality. Basically, manifesting. And I think I know where I want to kick this off is that if you're not shaping your reality, the outside reality is going to shape you.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this goes beyond manifesting as well. Manifesting, lots of times we think about, I'm going to, create something in my life. When I think about shaping your reality, like that involves like the flow of your life and the direction that it goes, your experience of the things. To me, it's a little bit more broad than just that. And I'm excited to let the conversation unfold.
Yeah, I get it. Except we're always manifesting. So that's kind of a misconception where people are like, I'm going to manifest this thing, but we're always manifesting.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
So let's take it like we're always manifesting. Now we're going to take what we manifest and we're going to shape it in a specific way. And we're going to discover how we use this, what is sometimes referred to as the principle of the world mirror, that the mirror is reflecting back to us what is inside of us.
The world is reflecting back to us what is inside of us. Mm-hmm. The choices and the actions that we take.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want to look at these 4 principles of shaping your reality, and we might dial in a few of them in this episode and possibly continue. But they are knowing, heart, action, and receptivity. Knowing,
heart, action, receptivity.
Mm-hmm. And if we start with knowing, it's about, in my mind, in the way that I teach this, which the students that have gone through School of Prosperous Thought, the ashram, like they're just doing so well with these principles. We have to know what it is we want. And this can get confusing for people because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know this big, big vision. You don't have to have the big, big vision. But if you're going to shape your reality, start to decide what is that desired reality. What is it that you want your life to be? If it's something specific in a relationship, something in your career or business or your health, and know it and really begin to see that in your vision. Because there's so much going through our mind every single day. You know, there was a study that said, a couple of studies, that I think it's 90 to 95% of our thoughts are the same thoughts we have every day. Oh, I got to brush my teeth. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm going to make coffee. Like just very mundane thoughts. So the more that we can shift this and be very present to what we know that we desire and be seeing it and thinking it, it becomes to take on this energetic thought power.
So knowing what you want. I think a lot of times people are a lot more clear in what they don't want.
Mm-hmm. And then this is a tricky thing. It's good to know what you don't want, everyone. The challenge that I see happening is that people then state what they don't want more often than what they do want. So the focus becomes, if you think about this energy, is always taking shape. It's like thought energy never disappears. There's always a trace. If your thoughts are going towards what you don't want, there is going to be an increase of that if you're not in the right, I guess you would say, mathematical equation, repurposing the thoughts for what it is you do want.
Right. Yeah. And so it's not just it's not just knowing what they don't want, right? And kind of fixating on that, but it's also like what that takes away from. And it kind of, it's so easy to dwell into a problem. It's so easy to kind of wind around into that. And then there becomes this clarity around what you don't want, but then that becomes that becomes like a negative. It's like a reverse affirmation.
Exactly. I think a reverse affirmation is a great way to state that. Your focus, your thought, your energy is going towards what you don't want. That will increase.
I notice that a lot. Like when I talk to people, they're very clear in what the problem is, and very, clear in it, but also very determined in that is what the problem is. Or also very determined in that I'm just stuck and I don't know what the problem is and I can't know what the problem is. And I always find that really interesting because then when we flip that and say, well, okay, like what would you like? What would you like instead of that? I'd like more peace. I'd like to be happier. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I think we found the first problem. Right, is we have no direction.
Well, peace and happiness are directions.
Well, they are, but they're also very, very difficult to pinpoint. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you want peace, great. That's awesome. I do too. And what is that experience for you? Right? Is there a certain set of circumstances that you have to have in order to have that? Like we talked about cosmic peace. Two sides of the coin with peace, in the two episodes previous to this, and the cosmic peace that's not disturbed. It's like, okay, well, if you really look at it like that, that is just a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice to not be disturbed by the world. I want to be more happy. Great. Be more happy.
Yeah. And the sustainability of it, right? So that's one right. Can like have a cup of coffee. It's like, oh, I'm happy. is it really shaping your reality in that way?
Right. Right. And there's something beyond that. That's all I'm saying, that clarity of like, well, what do I really want my experience to be through this?
So by knowing, and this, you can spend some time on this, everyone. You can, grab a journal, sit down and just start writing what you'd love to see your life be like, or who you desire to be like. Because most definitely, in order to acquire that thing that you desire, that essence or that experience or event in life, there's very much a part of you that must match it energetically, that must become it frequency wise.
Right.
When someone comes to me and says, I want a $12 million business. Well, are you showing up $12 million worth? You're going to there's going to be changes. There's going to be expansion. There's going to be a whole bunch of things that happen. Yet it all begins in the vision, in our mind's eye, seeing it. It's everything is created from a thought. It's the most powerful concept. Everything is created from a thought. Now, the thoughts become more powerful when we put that heart behind it, when there's emotions behind it.
Yeah. I think about this a little bit differently, I think, than you do. I appreciate the emotional component of it. And when I think about heart, that to me, it's a little hard to describe, actually, but it's not necessarily an emotional thing. It's when I'm really dropped into myself and choosing what's right for me. Right. There's like it's kind of like a knowing, but it's not like that kind of knowing. It's like an inner sort of quietude around it of just like, and an ease of like, oh, that's the thing. Oh, that's it. That's right for me. I know that's right for me. I can move in that direction. That's kind of how I think it. And sure, there's emotions that come along with it, but really dropping into that piece of, I feel it, I don't know, feeling is not even the right word. It's very difficult for me to describe, but it's like, it's that inner piece that just says yes. It's like an inner yes. That's just so clear.
Yeah, I think it's an acceptance of what it is. And it's very much that inner knowing will come when we are in more belief of what it is we want, like belief in ourselves and belief in the universe, in spirit, in source that will provide it when we stay on that path.
Okay, we have to back up. That was really, like you just said something. I'm so glad we have these talks, right? The acceptance of what you want. That's such a great way to put it. Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. Thank you for that. And then taking that forward, right? Like taking that to like an expression into the world.
It's shaping.
Yeah, shaping. Totally.
But think about what happens up until an acceptance. Think just everyone, because this is a really important piece. How many times do you have a thought and you're like, oh, this is what I want to do? And then immediately you come up with the objections like, oh no, it's going to be too hard. No, I can't do it. I don't know enough. I am not, like all of these things, these objections, and which then become excuses to not move forward. So when you're in a true knowing and you make that decision and you accept it, it's like those things start moving out of the way. Your desire, your knowing of what it is you want to create or who you want to be or what you want to have becomes way more important than any objections, anybody else's opinion on the planet. And I think that's when that belief really starts to take hold.
It takes down the barriers and it just so lightens the load. Right. It all like so much, maybe not all the resistance, but a big part of the resistance just drops away and it makes it much more free to take another step and to take another step. That's really powerful. Yeah.
The other thing that needs to happen for this piece of knowing and heart, and I am a believer of getting into the spirit of it. I think when you come upon something you want and it's charged with emotion, and this goes both ways, right? Everyone's like, that's what I said. One of the things, the misconceptions is we're always manifesting. If someone charges their desire with fear, you're going into the upside down affirmation. You're going to the negative affirmation. That thought's going to be charged. when you charge it with gratitude and that belief and that acceptance, it is also powerful. It begins to mold out into this universal intelligence space.
This is a question for you personally. Like, is that something though that you contrive, or is it something that you more just allow to happen? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, I think there's aim and effort behind it, because, what I was going to say, I kind of got off subject, but the things we need to avoid are regret of the past and apprehension of the future. As soon as you go into that apprehension of the future, like, how am I going to do this, whatever, the emotion around it,
the chase,
it takes on doubt and worry.
Yeah.
Being right here, present in the knowing, dropped into heart, and putting the emotion of really gratitude for it. It's already existing. If we think about it, it's already existing. Our desires will continue, and they will attract desires, good, bad, high, low. They will attract to us those very desires. So it's staying in that belief and dropped in and out of past and out of the future. Really, really present to it.
That allows the action to unfold, right? That's the third step, I
think we'll talk about in the next episode, but because I really want to dial this in. It's so important. This is not magical thinking. This isn't saying, "Oh, sit around and just think this thing and it's going to pop up," even though like the science of it and what we've seen over the ages, certainly what I see in our own lives, my students and clients' lives, and how many teachers have been teaching this over eons. Everything begins with a thought. What we're dialing in here is how much in the knowing of what it is you want to attract, that you can see it, that you can feel it, that you can accept it, and then be in this present moment and the next present moment, so that you're in this space, you're in this universal substance, ready to basically allow this thing to take shape. Yes, there's going to be action. Yes, there's going to be receptivity, and we'll talk about that in the next episode. But right here and now, you can just, when you go to do this process, you will see and hear the voices, the stuff, the excuses that start to take you out of it. And that discipline is to come back to the knowing, to drop in, and to allow yourself to believe this is working with the universe. This is working with, not arguing with it.
Yeah, that's a really good distinction there. Working with, not arguing with.
Yeah, this is shaping. This is not allowing the world to shape you.
Yeah, it's kind of, if you think about it like clay, you're going to shape your, your pot or your bowl or your cup or whatever it is. You're not going to beat the crap out of it and argue with it and try to make something out of that. You're going to do it through a more elegant movement. And that's what we're talking about.
And we're talking about merging the physical and the metaphysical, right? So like, not everything in the world is created. Not everything in the world is a result of some interaction between material objects or people. It's when we access the metaphysical, the universal substance, and bring that in, it's like this beautiful formula of the universe switching and shifting planes to bring in front of us the very opportunities that we want to say yes to.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing, right? Being willing to say yes. That's why I said the frequency in you, of you, must match what it is you want, because in order to say yes to the opportunities, you're going to have to be at a certain vibe. You're going to have to be courageous. You're going to have to be present.
Yeah. And we can dive deeper into this, but the one thing that I do want to mention about that too is really looking out for the doubt. Right? So the assumption is that, of course, since I've decided, of course, things are showing up that are moving me in that direction, that are giving me opportunities to move in that direction. So it's not a matter of, is it happening? It's happening. And that gives you the permission to start to look at it in a different way and start to find the clues and the breadcrumbs and the things that will take next step. So just like, I know we'll get back to the doubt in a different way, but I really wanted to mention that at the end of this one, just to as a kind of warning sign, hey, look out for the doubt. Like that's a real, that's something to really look out for.
Definitely toss the doubt in the trash. They're just disruptors. And they're disruptors from...
KISMA has spoken.
Yeah, they're disruptors from the subconscious mind that's trying to keep you all right where you know it to be safe, or it knows it to be safe. So back to what you can do this week. Get into the know of what, and I really encourage people to know bigger, to dream bigger. You know, there's that beautiful Emerson quote that God doesn't think in good or big and small. You know, basically the universe isn't saying to you, spirit isn't saying to you, are you sure? You know, is that too big? We're the ones, our conditioned mind, our whole set of paradigms is what tries to take us into a smaller version. So think bigger, just go for it. If journaling is your thing, write it down. And then after a period of time, not too long, just bring that vision into your mind's eye. Bring the vision into your mind's eye and connect with it from your heart. And you know, you can oftentimes say wow, maybe this is possible. And what would it feel like to know that this is already here? Because it does exist. So what would it feel like to know that that's already here? And you'll drop into a state of just like you described, Nick, or just the knowing becomes deeper, really resides in your heart.
Yeah. That's best. The acceptance. Mm-hmm. I just love how you put that. That was a real gem for me.
And then stay present. You know, watch out for those dips into the past. Watch out for the apprehension to the future. Watch out for your need to be right. We'll talk about that later. And just be present. If nothing else, this very exercise will elevate your vibe. It'll raise your frequency.
Yeah.
You can just be I don't know about this stuff, but you know what? I'm going to go here because, as I always say, we're thinking. We're always thinking. And so why not think about the most beautiful existence that you desire and really accept it and bring it in and focus on that? Because I guarantee it's going to feel a lot better than a whole bunch of other things that we could be thinking out. That's noise and manipulation and fear in the world.
Yeah. It's we're already having fantasies in our head, you know, about different things all day long. And why not make them really beautiful ones?
Really beautiful ones. And then in the next episode, we'll talk more about the action and the receptivity to really bring these dreams into a reality for you.
All right. Well, I get the sense that we are just getting started here with this. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the next episode. Stay tuned for that, everybody. Definitely, listen back and do the homework from this episode, homework, whatever you want to call it. Take a little bit of time with that. Mm-hmm. It's something that's really special, and there's a lot here for you. And certainly, if you want to share the podcast, we always, love to spread the message. Illumination is about spreading the light. And if you want to spread a little light, sharing the podcast is a great way to do that. It helps people to think differently. We really spend some time thinking through what it is that we want to talk about and share, because it's important in how we live our lives. And sometimes it's really helpful for somebody to hear that in another voice. So
absolutely, definitely
do that. If you see us on Facebook, drop us a comment underneath. Let us know what you think of the episode. If you are watching on our website, you can make comments there, and hit that subscribe button if you would. I think you'll be happy to have it just pop up in your feed.
That's right.
Whenever it's ready.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for being here, everyone. See you next time. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks for jamming with us today. And if you enjoy Illumination Podcast, please go ahead and share it with someone you love. Give us a rating, review, download our podcast. And remember, you can find us at illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. Talk to you soon. Namaste.